Do you remember like the John Terry ones and things like that? That was different. That was because he had slept with his wife. I mean, I can see why there was no handshake then, right?
Oh,
what?
So, do you think there's like
No,
young lion?
No. Hello and welcome back to part 2 of Yahoo Footballing Weekly. As always, we go local, we go Singapore, and as has been the case for a number of weeks now, we go Lion City Sailors with a story that is possibly the daftest one yet. And there is serious competition, Keong. Serious competition.
Yeah, I thought 1 week without them on the news could be, but then this thing came out. So apparently during their Singapore Cup fixture against the Young Lions,
the
prestigious Singapore Club, everybody knows about that. Anyway, so they were playing. They were surprisingly not that good, and then drew 1-1 with Young Lions,
which is a huge upset.
Yeah, which is a big upset. So they were upset. They were upset, and there was a bit of a rough playing during the game, and so 3 of their top players, Maxime Lestienne, Kim Shin-wook, and Diego Lopez, all great players, all
who
top
are
players,
apparently on $1 million contracts or thereabouts.
Apparently they are, and they just refuse to shake hands. Because of it, they might be frustrated. I know, getting malued by Young Lions. But so they forgot that there is a rule by FAS that states you must shake hands after a match. Okay, you must shake hands. So it's mandatory. So what?
It's an admin issue, lah.
It's an actual law. I've got it here. Under Article 31.1 of the Singapore Cup 2022 regulations. Don't you guys have anything else to do than write these regulations? It states that players from both the teams are required to assemble at the centre circle, like kindergarten, with the match officials for a post-match handshake. It doesn't say the kindergarten part. But there you go.
Not doing that, they will each fine $500.
Daryl, what do you think? Fair?
I mean, it's in the rule book, so it's just where was the Lion City administrators in this? Why didn't they ensure the players are tired, 90 minutes plus at the time, and frustrated because they couldn't get the win. But it was a comical own goal that they conceded.
It is.
Yeah. So they didn't win the game, so they were frustrated and all that.
I've just remembered
Where's
now.
the administrator?
Remember last time he was on, we called him like the politician. Do you remember?
So there you go.
And he's back again. It was in the rules.
So the rules say that the fine is $500 per player, right?
Yes.
Okay, I want to know, is the money going to Singapore pools?
No, it's going to their charity, I think.
Okay.
Who's their charity?
I don't know.
Can we make sure like Straits Times Pocket Money Fund, someone?
I don't know. No, I don't think so.
Daryl Spykerman last minute going
I think in the story, I think there's a line in the story.
But basically, it's the rules, and then they didn't follow it, and then they're gonna get a fine.
It really is. The regulation states any player who fails
I will blame the club
to do so shall be issued with a mandatory fine of $500.
So I think the premise is all right.
It's fine.
Promote sportsmanship. Yeah, everybody comes and does a handshake. Fine, but to go and find a person just because he might have forgotten for all you know.
I think that was the case.
He might be frustrated. He just I'm frustrated, so he walked off. Okay, fair enough. The team should have reminded him, hey, go and do your handshake. But obviously, they also didn't know that there's actually a fine for that.
Yeah. I agree. This is not Cristiano Ronaldo smacking some phone out of a kid's hand. I agree with you. It's an innocent mistake. As our fellow politician says, if it's the law, it's the law. Fine. But sometimes I think it should be a case-by-case perspective. It can't wait. No, he's disagreeing. He's disagreeing. It's black and white with this man. Very
draconian. We're going to start the NF thing again.
No, I'm not. But I just feel that if you list all of the things we have spoke about on this show, infrastructure issues, right? Women not having changing rooms, empty stadiums, not enough crowds, not enough support, VAR, this and that. And we're going to get our knickers in a twist over a handshake or a non-handshake, then all perspective is gone. I know it's the rules. I accept it's the rules, so don't get excited. But on the list of priorities, this is like 999.
Just to take the piss out of it, the 3 sailors players should say, I'm not paying. Then watch this thing just spiral out of control.
I mean, you think of the famous ones over the years. You remember like the John Terry ones and things like that. That was different. That was because he had slept with his wife. I mean, I can see why there was no handshake then, right? Oh. What?
So, do you think there's like
No.
some young lion?
No.
Some young lion has boarded the ship.
3 of them.
We have very serious libel laws on this podcast. We are not advocating what the politician just said
I mean, like
in any
some
way.
of those boys, young lions.
But I had a look, right? I don't even know in international football right now what the actual current rule is for handshake, right? Because FIFA in 2012, they did pass a law saying it was mandatory for handshakes, right? They passed it at the FIFA Congress 2012. But then in coronavirus, it stopped.
Yeah.
The Premier League have taken extra measures during COVID, revealed no handshakes until further notice.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the notice. Maybe it's been forgotten and all that. I don't know. So even league by league, nation by
it's up to
nation,
each league.
it's a bit, it's not the most important issue. But the fact that it's clear even now that there are not real hard and fast rules from country to country shows you that it's not that big a deal, is it? I mean, do you think it's that big a deal?
No, obviously not. It's a small deal. I mean, you can just say, hey, you forgot. Next time, please do it. Don't forget lah.
Yeah. Do you know where the handshake started? I looked it up. They say the handshake started with the Roman Empire to show that they weren't carrying weapons, right? And then you know how you hold the wrist with the other hand? That's to show they don't have any knives up the sleeve. So I can see that might work if you were around West Ham, for example. But I don't think it really applies with the Lion City Sailors, right?
Yeah.
But let us know what you think. Okay, law is the law. I mean, I would take your question. I would take the money and build some dressing rooms for the girls to change into.
Fair enough.
Then I'll accept it.
Yes.
All right, let's go on. What's happening next? Lion City Sailors again.
Well,
This is the Lion City Sailor podcast.
and it's not really that good. So they've lost the title defense to the Singapore Premier League to LB Reds. Big slump in the last few weeks of the play. So lost, and then they did say they want to focus on Singapore Cup, try to win it. At least end the season on a positive note.
Yeah.
They couldn't even win a match. They drew 2, lost 1, and were knocked out in the opening group stage of the Singapore Cup. So
Astonishing.
It's
astonishing.
I mean, considering the team they have,
And considering their budget
it's
compared to other
budget,
teams.
Yeah,
if
so
it is tantamount to Man City exiting the group stage of the Champions League.
Yeah.
You can say the ship has sailed for the Lions.
Oh,
nice.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Something is seriously wrong with...
Okay, so they lost their coach mid-season, and he was the one who headbutted somebody. Was that right?
Yeah. Yep.
So,
Kim Do-hoon, yeah.
and it was seriously fined for that. Now that I understand, you
Yeah.
get a big fine for headbutting someone. I get that. So they lost him. They brought in the interim coach,
So this interim coach,
who was a bit of a Conte type, who drilled them.
Correct. And he didn't come in with credentials. He was their academy director.
Right.
Wow, so it's just filling in.
So it's actually filling in for the job because I don't know why they don't have time to find a new one, or maybe none was available. So anyway, they were at first when they start off. So what they say is he did it Antonio Conte style, really drilled them hard for the first few sessions, and it paid off. They won quite handily their first few matches, but they ran out of steam.
They did the Sun Hong Ming. They were like,
and then they just faded off right at the end of the... Fair enough. So he said he has learned his lesson, so he don't train them well. So next thing you know, 1 or 2 week break before they start the Singapore Cup. And the Singapore Cup, they started off with a 3-3 draw with Balestier, which is a shocker as well. Then a 1-1 draw with Young Lions, we said that, even a bigger shock. And then handily beaten by LB Reds, who are the champions right now, 2-1.
yeah.
So this whole season, where they have $1 million footballers, where they have practically half or the 3/4 of the national team there,
Yeah.
they couldn't win a single trophy.
And philosophically, that is a major concern, isn't it? Because if you think, look at it the other way, if the Lion City Sailors cannot succeed with a local side, with 3 players reportedly on around $1 million contracts, with how many national players? Half the national players are in their squad, right? So best national players, best foreign players that their budget will allow, and they can't even beat the best other team in the league, who happens to be a foreign Japanese team, Albirex Niigata. What does that say about the state of local football? If Lion City Sailors cannot make it with their budget, with their players, with their squad, with their training facilities, with their infrastructure, then what chance does every other team have in Singapore of succeeding? Is the standard of local football so bad? Is the gap between Albirex and the rest so big that even that money and infrastructure can't bridge the divide?
Actually,
it's a worry.
And actually, I don't think so, because Albirex this season weren't that good to begin with.
That's why it worries me even more, because Albirex not being at their, flying on all cylinders, still wins the league. Looks like they could win the cup as well. I mean, they're flying in the Singapore Cup.
Tampines might.
Tampines, go on Tampines. Right, that's nothing against Albirex, just for the sake of variety. But let's, for argument's sake, say they get to the final or get close to winning a double. I find that strange. I find that concerning. I mean, just from an optics point of view, it just doesn't look very good, again, for local league. Back to the same question. What is the local league for, and who is it for? If it's for Albirex, and God bless Albirex, but if it's for Albirex to clean up every single season, then what are we? Are we a feeder league for Japan? What is our purpose, is the question I'm asking Daryl.
I think that's always difficult to find out what is the purpose of the Singapore Premier League.
Bit like Tottenham.
Hey, come on.
Every chance, man. Every
That's
chance.
just a low blow.
It was very low.
But yeah, I think the Lion City Sailors, they have the money, they have the infrastructure. So I think eventually they will start to win the league more regularly.
They have to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Shopee will close, and we don't have.
So they lost the coach mid-season, right? So maybe that could explain it. So the new guy or the temporary guy came in, maybe trained them in fitness, but tactics, maybe that was lacking.
Yeah.
Maybe that wasn't good enough.
Maybe. I mean, there's always,
Yeah, then you wonder, what about like the other clubs? Tampines used to be very strong previously, but now, not as much. And then you still got Geylang and then Hougang. And I think in terms of support, there are more fans who are watching local football, who are supporting local football, but it's still very, very small numbers.
The numbers they get on YouTube, because I watch sometimes on YouTube, they're decent. So that idea of putting it on free streaming, I think that was a very positive move. I watch it on YouTube. It gets some good coverage there.
Yep. So eventually that's the league. The league's going on as best as it can, trying to grow as best as it can. But then you got to look at the national team. How is the national team going to improve? And then that's where, you have to go back and try and get good players and then just send them overseas, get them training, and then they got to come back and then do NS again for, another year and a half or 2 years. And then after that, hopefully still go back to overseas clubs. I mean, if they can't go to Europe, then they got to go to, Korea, Japan, and Australia. And then eventually come back when we have like the international games, because that's the best we can do. And hopefully, those who are trying to get there, they play in the Singapore Premier League.
Which means Singapore not going to qualify for the World Cup.
I mean, we are
not like a true politician
we are not talking about qualifying for the World Cup, guys, but we are talking about dominating Southeast Asia and trying to qualify regularly for like Asian Cup.
Yeah.
Because
that's how far. That's where we are now.
We can't even win our domestic league.
We are in the middle. We are in the middle for Southeast Asia, right? We will be like third or fourth best team at, honestly speaking, right, behind
if that,
behind Thailand, behind Vietnam, and then similar with like Indonesia.
No, I think the list is probably
so we'll be
longer.
like fourth. Okay, fine, we'll be fourth, and then we got to try and be first or second, and then we got to try and get to the Asian Cup like in the group stage. Because that's how. Because we don't need to talk about so far about the World Cup in like 2010 and then now 2032 or
You don't even have to talk about all that. What have we got? 8 teams, right? 8 teams in the Singapore Premier League.
We got 8.
So we've got 7 out of 8 teams are local. I mean, it couldn't be more stacked in our favour, right? Yeah. It is played in our country. Yeah. It is played on our pitches with the vast majority of our players. And despite having 7 out of 8 teams in the Premier League, the one foreign team wins everything.
It is
what
time
does that look like?
We do the franchise model like how we did with Lion City Sailors. Let us not forget, Lion City Sailors used to be Home United, and before that, Police FC.
Yes.
They have just washed away all these teams with proud histories.
Wow.
It is time to resurrect Woodlands Wellington, Sembawang Rangers. Who else you have?
Gombak United.
Gombak United. Bring back these teams that have...
Marine.
Yeah.
Marine Castle. No.
Marine
That
Castle.
became,
Second Marine.
but in the end, it became Hougang. So, you have all these names, right, that have history behind them, legit history.
Yeah.
Bring it back, give it to the next Singaporean who has billions of dollars, and let them run the team.
You're supposed to be Singaporean. We don't care about history in this country. We care about money. We don't care about history. We don't care about heritage.
But this is how we start with the merchandise.
Bring back the foreign talent
merch
scheme.
ready to
Get
go.
all the Albert X players, Singapore
Woodlands,
passports.
Wellingtons.
Right? Let's
We
have
like
11 Japanese guys.
Salam will be like the poster boy.
No.
Come on, man.
Singapore
Sembawang
passports.
Rangers. That's awesome jerseys and all.
Singapore passports for all the Albert X players. Make it happen.
Oh,
Let's have 11
come
Japanese
on.
kids playing for Singapore.
Come on.
Who cares? That's the Singapore way.
Only if
I'm
their parents
joking.
were
I'm
from
joking.
a young
But seriously,
Lions or something.
all jokes
If they were
aside,
half Singaporean, we'll take them. Half Japanese,
of
half
course,
Singaporean.
of course.
Fine.
All jokes aside, when the one foreign team is dominating,
Yeah.
It's not good.
it's not good, and we need to look at it next season. But let us know what you think, as always. All right, let's wrap things up with the English Premier League weekend preview.
Actually, you see the matches there. It's all very straightforward. I think it's only the top teams against a crappy team. So
No, I was just going to mention one. I want to mention one match, Newcastle-Chelsea, because I'm trying to get into the good books of Newcastle fans because you upset them all last week.
oh, I did.
So, no, I didn't. But I did some research on Newcastle, right? All jokes aside about the Saudi ownership, well, that's not really funny at all. But Eddie Howe has been in charge for 12 months,
Just 12 months.
right? 12 months. His win record at the weekend, he's won 20 out of 41 league games, right?
No
and
way.
19 have come in the last 32. Okay, fine. Saudi money, Saudi this, Saudi that. But he has coached 13 of his match day squad. 13 were there before the takeover. Now, I already thought that Eddie Howe was a good coach. I thought he did a terrific job at Bournemouth. But of all the stats I've read in recent weeks, in all seriousness, the idea that he has taken over 13 of the squad that were there before the takeover and he's got them up to third, he's doing a great job. He is seriously
Manager of the year.
doing
I
a
was
great job.
aware about this. I tried to get Daniel Levy on the phone on the Zoom call and all
you
this.
did get him on?
And Paratici and all that, yeah.
You didn't put on your
But
politician
no, they
voice.
wanted to get Conte. They were like, no, Conte.
I'm not
like,
sure that's what
guys,
they were.
come
I
on.
think they were calling you something
It's
else.
Steady Eddie, man. Steady Eddie.
Oh dear, but no, great
But yeah,
job.
Newcastle versus Chelsea, is it?
And I
which
fancy them to beat Chelsea.
Yeah,
I do.
I think, but also I feel that Graham Potter now with Chelsea, I think he should look at Eddie Howe. Now he's under a bit of pressure because Chelsea haven't been doing well. The fans were booing him during the
huge
defeat.
booing.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
what's wrong
But
with Eddie Graham Potter?
I
at
honestly
Chelsea?
think,
Yeah.
I mean, what do we know? We're just guessing. I think there's a bit of an inferiority complex there. Eddie Howe went into Newcastle and said, this is what I'm going to impose. And he coached his players and he made them better. Graham Potter already seems to be, this club is too big for me. And he seems to be second guessing himself week to week. His formation at the weekend was some 4-2-2-2 thing.
Yeah.
He's played Raheem Sterling at fullback.
yeah.
Aubameyang is basically wasting his time at the moment. He rarely saw the ball at the weekend. They're all over the place. They've got an inconsistent formation, an inconsistent lineup. Yes, they've got some injuries, but so do lots of clubs. At the moment, Chelsea are a club searching for an identity.
Correct.
And I think
would
Potter is in search of the kind of identity he wants to impose upon his new
Graham
team.
Potter. You can see in the games, guys. Brighton, he was fine. He looked normal in the tracksuit. All now Chelsea, it's like bling bling, dark suits and all. Like, what is he trying to turn into? Like a villain, Harry Potter? Or what's up with him? Like,
No, I like him.
He
I
has
like him.
changed. He has changed.
He
I
has
think.
changed.
He has
He's become
yeah.
Voldemort. I enjoy it. Right, let's just run through the fixtures and give predictions for all, right? Newcastle, Chelsea, I'm going to say 2-1 Newcastle.
Newcastle 3-1.
2-0 Newcastle.
All right, next. Spurs v Leeds. We have to do it. He's here. I hope Leeds will win. No, I think it'll possibly. No, I think they'll win. I think Spurs will just squeak it 1-0.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
1-0. 1-0 Spurs.
Oh, Spurs gonna go out with a bang. Spurs 5.
So
Leeds
lose
2.
3-0 then. Oh, okay. Right. Wolves v Arsenal. Arsenal are unstoppable. Wolves are all over the place. Got a new manager, but he won't make any changes so quickly.
I think Arsenal gonna win it 3-1.
I'll go with 3-1. Arsenal.
Wolves 2, Arsenal 2.
Yeah, he's talking.
Come on, Wolverhampton.
Yeah.
Come on, boys.
You've got more chance of being Line City Sailor manager. Right, Man City v Brentford. 4-0 Man City.
5-0.
Man City 3, Brentford 2.
Right, Liverpool, Southampton. I think Liverpool are on the upswing now.
Hey, Hassan Hotel's been sacked, man.
But you know,
backlash.
the bounce, right?
No,
the
not
post-match.
at Anfield.
No.
We want to win back at Anfield.
No, this is it.
3-0. Liverpool 3-0.
Liverpool nil.
4-0. What are you saying?
Liverpool nil. Southampton 1.
All right, Fulham, Man U. Where's West Ham in this list? Is there a boycott? He gets the preview together. There is no West Ham in this list.
only put the top teams.
Oh, that's it. Top teams. And I've got to talk about Fulham and Man U. I don't care. Man U,
who cares?
Fulham 1-1.
Fulham 3, Man U 3.
So I go with 2-2 lah.
All right. Let's wrap this thing up by talking about, good idea, what we want, your idea, what we want from the EPL when it resumes from the World Cup. What would we like to happen when it comes back? Who's going first? Go on, Keong, your idea.
Okay.
Oh, he's sitting up for this.
Arsenal are gonna go head to head with Man City all the way until the last game or the last few games, and then Man City are gonna drop points against Newcastle. The two Arabian clubs, the Arabian clubs will cause each other to lose points.
With 4 red
and
cards.
Arsenal will finally win again. I'm sorry, Daryl.
What's wrong with you?
Arsenal are gonna win the title from out of nowhere.
Yeah, clip that part.
Yeah, I'm gonna get egg on my face.
Come on, Daryl.
So
Crystal ball time.
this is what we want to see when the World Cup resumes, right?
I mean,
That's what he wants to see.
So he's a Liverpool fan, and that's
because
his dream.
Liverpool are
They're not gonna
I
win the
don't
league,
know,
are they?
Yeah, so I mean, I just hope Spurs, Kulusevski will have a good rest. I don't know how Kane will somehow get a rest or Son will somehow get a rest, but I just hope Spurs will, because they've been playing 2 games a week for almost 2 months. So clearly they can't handle it and they need the rest. So hopefully they will get some rest, or Spurs will at least get Bastoni in to the club, and hopefully playing more or less 1 game a week, they will be more steady and get 3rd in the league. And hopefully Arsenal just drop to like 6.
Wow, just
Hopefully
6.
Arsenal just drop to
Just
like 6.
6.
It'll be fine. Yeah, some injuries along the way. They haven't had any injuries. Saliba, Gabriel have been playing. It's time like all the Gabriels like got injured
anything
or
but
something.
Arsenal, really. Man.
Wow, that's
Like
unbelievable.
Gabriel Martinelli, Ricky Martin, or some fella that kid. Yeah.
So, what do you think about the EPL when it comes back? What is your hope? What is your wish? What is your ambition? Send all your comments and suggestions to
Yahoo Southeast Asia on YouTube, Yahoo SG, Yahoo _MY on Twitter, Yahoo SE on TikTok.
Thanks, man. And thanks, Daryl, for coming on. Being such a good sport.
Yeah. I really hope your team does well, really. I think.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't.
I don't at all.
one half.
I don't at all. I wish you all a very pleasant World Cup. We'll be back during the World Cup regularly, so do look out for our World Cup previews, and there'll be other podcasts.
And after the World Cup, we'll be back with the normal EPL program.
Yep. And if all things go well, Tottenham by then will be in a relegation struggle. So until then, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you very soon. Cheers, guys.
See ya.